I'm all in.
What's up everybody? Another day, another cash game session here in Vegas. Yesterday we got smoked in a table that it was really soft. Lost $700 at Bellagio. Check out the episode because I think that episode is really like valuable for you to watch it, because there's gonna be some times that you're just gonna get a beautiful table and cards are not gonna go your way, and it happens. So check it out if you want. And now we're going to 1-3 or 2-5 session here in Resorts World. The line was pretty big. I put my name in the 1-3 and 2-5 list at Poker Atlas. Hopefully it's not gonna take too long, and wish me luck. Let's go.
I buy in for 400, which is the max. I change seat to get a better table footage. First hand I get ace-9 offsuit from the under the gun, and I decided to open fold. This hand is out of my open raise range. Sometimes I will decide to play this hand, but without any information of the table, and apparently without a big fish in the big blind, I rather just fold. Next hand I get king-queen offsuit from the low jack. I raise to 15, hijack calls, until the small blind re-raises to 45. As usual, people in this 1-3 size really small, raising 45 from the small blind with two other people in position to call is not a good sizing. I call the 45, hijack folds, which is weird. The flop comes king 7-7 with two spades. I have the queen of spades. He c-bets 65, easy call for me here. I call the 65. The turn is a jack of hearts, a pretty safe card. Now he bets 115, effective stack is like 300. I could decide to shove here, but I rather take advantage of my position and call. Hopefully we won't see a spade in the river. River is a really safe one. A 8 of clubs. He shoves all in.
Ace king and aces is good. Kings too.
He shows ace jack, making kind of a weird play in the turn and river. I really don't know if he was betting for value or as a bluff. Thinking about my range, he was bluffing, because there's no way I'm gonna call with a hand that is worse than ace jack, and I win the hand. Next hand I get pocket 8s from the under the gun. I raise to 15, +1, cut off and button call, so 4 players see the flop. The flop comes ace, king, deuce, rainbow. That's a really bad flop for my hand, but is a great flop for my range. So I could definitely decide to c-bet here and maybe bet following streets as well. But I just didn't felt it was the moment, so I decided to check and pretty much give up on the hand, cause I was not quite confident that they would believe my story if some of them had an ace, which is pretty likely, so I check. Cut off bets and I fold. Next hand I get pocket jacks on the button, one limper before me. I raise to 15, only the limper calls. We go heads up to the flop. The flop comes queen 7-7, rainbow. He checks to me, and I could either decide to bet or to check in this flop. I decided to go with the option of checking and open space for him to bluff in following streets. The turn is a great one. A 4 of clubs. Now he bets 15, and I'm gonna follow the plan and just call. River is another 7, a great card because it doesn't change nothing. If I was winning in the turn, I'm still winning in the river. He bets 45 now. People in this 1-3 tend to under bluff. If I was playing 2-5, I would have already called this spot.
40.
But by the way I played, there's no way I'm gonna fold for this bet. I gotta call 45 for a pot that has a little more than $100. I call. He shows ace 7 suited, making trips in the flop and quads in the river, and he takes the hand. Next hand I get ace jack offsuit from middle position. I raise to 15, button calls, small blind calls, and then the big blind decides to re-raise to $45. Again, really small sizing. There's no way I'm folding ace jack offsuit for 30 more. I call, button call, and small blind call. So 4 players see the flop. The flop comes jack 6-5 with 2 diamonds. I have no diamond in my hand. Big blind C bets to 25, around 1/8 of the pot, which is a really weird sizing, but I'm not gonna raise. I'm gonna just call and analyze following streets. Button calls as well, small blind folds. 3 players see the turn. The turn is a 9 of diamonds, really bad card. I might be drawing dead already. Big blind bets 75 now, and I don't think it's a good idea to call, especially with one player left to act after me. And another betting street, which most likely someone is gonna bet. So I decide to fold. Almost 1 hour of game, winning around $250. Next hand I get ace king offsuit from the cutoff. Middle position raises to 20. Pretty big raise for a 1-3. That usually represents a big hand, but ace king offsuit is just too good of a hand for me to just call. I re-raise to $60. Next hand I get pocket sixes from the cutoff. Everybody folds to me. This woman in the button had a tendency to flat a lot in position, so I'm gonna raise a little bigger than usual. I raise to 26. Everybody folds and I win the hand.
Before you don't have to act. They're already at a disadvantage, so.
Next hand I get ace king of diamonds from the middle position. I raise to 15. Women in my left snap calls. Button, small blind and big blind calls as well. So 5 players see the flop. Great time to smash the flop really hard, which is not exactly what happens, but I'm huge. They check to me and I'm gonna keep betting. I bet 45. In case someone calls, most likely I'm gonna bet big in the turn. Which is not gonna be necessary, because everybody folds and I take the hand. Little more than an hour of game, winning around $350. Next hand I get king 10 offsuit from the cutoff. Under the gun straddles to 6. I raise to 16. Big blind and straddler calls. So 3 players see the flop. I make top pair in the flop. There's a big chance I'm winning. They check to me and I'm gonna bet for value. I bet $20. Only big blind calls. Turn comes a king of hearts. I make trips. He checks to me again. Now there are 2 flush draws in the board. I'm definitely gonna keep betting. I bet 45 now, around half pot. He calls again. Effective stack is around 250. River is a 8 of hearts. Backdoor flush gets there. He checks to me again, and I'm gonna bet again, targeting hands like queen X, pocket pairs, or even a king worse than mine. I bet 110, little more than half pot, and now he goes into the tank. He calls, I show the bad news, and he mucks. Winning almost $600 for now. Next hand I get pocket 9s from the big blind. Under the gun straddles to 6. Cut off and button call. I'm definitely gonna raise. I raise to 46. Brazilian woman in the straddle. Calls. Button calls as well. He has like $500 in his stack. The flop comes king 7 deuce with 2 clubs. Most likely I'm still winning this hand and there are a lot of kings in my range. I'm gonna keep betting. I bet 65, around half pot. They both fold and I take the hand. Next hand I get pocket queens in the small blind. Hijack raises to 12. Cutoff calls. I'm gonna raise here. I decide to take advantage of my image in this table and raise a little bigger. I raise to $60. The game is deep and I don't wanna let them play in position against me cheaply as well. Only cutoff calls. We go heads up to the flop. The flop comes king 6-5 rainbow. I don't think he has a lot of ace king in his range, and I block king queen, so I think it's pretty unlikely for him to have a king here. I'm gonna bet to protect my equity. I bet 45, 1/3 of the pot. He folds and we take the hand. Little more than 2 hours of game, winning $720. Next hand I'm in the big blind with 10-9 offsuit, button straddles to 6, hijack, cutoff, and small blind call. I see a pretty juicy spot here to squeeze, $27 of dead money in the pot. Everybody except the button have what we call a capped range, cause most likely they would raise if they had a great hand such as aces, kings, queens, ace, king. 10-9 offsuit is an okay hand and I decide to take advantage of this spot and raise to $56. Everybody folds and I win the hand. Next hand I get ace-10 offsuit from the cutoff, 2 limpers before me, I raise to 18, middle position and hijack call, so 3 players see the flop. The flop is ace, 8, deuce with 2 spades. I don't have a spade. They check to me and I decide to check back here. Most of the times I'm gonna just bet, but sometimes I'm gonna check back to protect my checking range. Most likely I'm gonna do when I have a spade, but I decided to do that this time. Turn is a blank, a 6 of clubs, cutoff bets 25, I call, middle position folds, river is a 9 of spades. If he had a flush draw, he got there. He checks to me, I could decide to bet, but I chose to check back. He shows pocket 5s, I show ace 10, and it's good. Next hand I get pocket 9s from the small blind, under the gun raises to 15, button re-raises to 35, and here with pocket 9s, from the small blind, I just don't think it's a great option to flat or to raise. There is a relevant chance I'm losing this hand, and I'm in the worst position of the table with just $1 invested, so I decided to fold and go to the next hand. I just like to put myself in spots that I think that are profitable, and I don't believe this is the case. Next hand I get 7-8 suited from the cutoff, 1 limper before me in the hijack. I raise to 20, I won't mind if everybody folds. Big blind and hijack call, so 3 players see the flop. The flop comes king, 8, deuce, rainbow. They check to me, there's a relevant chance I'm winning this hand with pair of 8s. Also, there are a lot of kings in my range, raising in position from the cutoff. So I'm gonna bet here. I bet $21, 1/3 of the pot. They all fold and I win the hand. Next and last hand of this episode, I get ace-jack offsuit from the hijack. Middle position raises to 15. I'm usually gonna 3-bet this hand, but I didn't feel the timing was right, so I decided just to flat and play in position against him. We go heads up to the flop. The flop comes 10, 10, deuce, rainbow. He checks to me and I decide to check back. Turn is an ace, great card. Now he bets $20, no reason at all for me to fold or to raise here. Very easy call in position, so I call. River is another deuce. It is pretty unlikely for this deuce to have changed something. If I was winning in the turn, I'm still winning in the river. The opposite is also true. He checks.
Check.
I check back. He shows king-jack offsuit. I show the ace-jack, and I win the last spot of the night. A great friend of mine, who is a professional poker player and plays in LA, just got here. We scheduled to have dinner and that's what we're gonna do. Won $944 in 3 hours and 40 minutes of game. Great session overall. Pretty easy table. The type of table I love to see when playing 1-3. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. If you did, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe to the channel. The mission of this channel is helping you become a better poker player, and see you next time.